Sugarland is one of the most popular suburbs in the Houston area. I have clients relocating here all the time because of the great schools and amazing homes. In this video, I'm going to discuss just about everything you need to know before you make a move here. I'm going to talk about the different neighborhoods, styles of homes, things to consider, the pros and cons of living here, things to do, and also be sure to stick around to the end because I'm going to discuss schools in Sugarland. There are some great schools, but it gets a little tricky. Let's get started. Howdy, my name is Holub. I'm the broker here at Traditions Realty, and I help people buy and rent homes in Sugarland and the greater Houston area. So if you are thinking about relocating to Sugarland or anywhere around Houston, feel free to reach out. I'd love to help you. And also on my channel, my goal is to document all of the various areas around Houston. So if you are thinking about making a move, please do me a favor of subscribing. So today is all about Sugarland. So we're doing a deep dive into everything you need to know before you move to Sugarland. So let's start off with where it's located on the map.
So looking at the map of the Houston area, you can see this is downtown Houston, and Sugarland is on the southwestern portion of the Houston area. It's right down here. So from downtown Houston, you're pretty much taking I-69 south to get here, and kind of the major roads in the area, Highway 6, lots of stoplights, but it runs north and south. Lots of great restaurants right along here on the southern part of Sugarland. Right here is Grand Parkway, or Highway 99, and that is the third loop around the Houston area. It's for the most part a toll road, and then Beltway 8 is also a toll road, but it's a second loop around Houston. And then over here, for a lot of people that live in the southeastern portion of Sugarland, Missouri City, particularly Sienna Plantation, they'll take the Fort Bend County toll road. All right, so looking at some different areas of Sugarland and around it, you'll see these four areas right here. Even though they're all different colors, this is the actual city limits of Sugarland. Now, HAR divides them up into 4 quadrants based on their geography. So this is Sugarland North, Sugarland East, Sugarland South, and Sugarland West. But again, it's just all the city of Sugarland. Now, some surrounding areas, you have Stafford to the northeast. This is Missouri City. Some people call it Mo City. And on the southeast over here is Sienna. This is a county. And then there are 2 twin towns called Rosenberg and Richmond. We just call them Richmond, Rosenberg since they're so close. But those towns do have their own charm and are very different. And then this right here, we're just calling Richmond North, but this is out in the county. So again, this is the actual city limits of Sugarland. So looking at this map, you can see a little bit better. Missouri City is in red. The Sienna area is in yellow. Richmond, this is more just out in the county. Richmond, Roseburg over here, and then this is the Sugarland South. So that's kind of the area of Sugarland and surrounding areas.
So why would people pick Sugarland over any of the other great suburbs in the Houston area? Well, I can think of 3 reasons. One is the location. It just has a great location to downtown, the Galleria, especially the medical center. So a lot of medical professionals actually live in the Sugarland area. And just like I discussed, there's a ton of great access to all these different areas. And for the most part, there will be some traffic, but it's not too terrible as compared to some other areas. Number 2 is the great schools. Now, I'm going to talk more about this later, but the schools are some of the best in the state. And then number 3, it's pretty much self-contained. Sugarland has pretty much everything you need, from a variety of different jobs, event center, conference center, baseball park, tons of great restaurants, things to do, and concerts. A lot of my clients and friends that live here in Sugarland pretty much don't go outside Sugarland unless they're going for work or to catch a ball game. So everything is pretty much self-contained in Sugarland. So those are some of the 3 top reasons why people select Sugarland.
So let's talk about some of the fun things to do in Sugarland. First off is Constellation Field. This is a minor league baseball ballpark where the Space Cowboys play. It is an affiliate of the Houston Astros. And so it's a great stadium to go and watch a ball game. In addition to that, it's a lot of fun for kids because they have a playground and splash pad. And then also events throughout the year. Our favorite events to attend is the Christmas lights in December. And you can walk around, enjoy Christmas lights with some drinks and food, and they also have things to do, usually some carnival rides with it. So it's always a great time, and our family definitely looks forward to it. Next, there are a couple of museums. First, the Museum of Natural Science, and this is not the main one for Houston. It is just a kind of a satellite campus, so it is a little bit smaller. I definitely recommend the main one, but for a short trip during summer, it's a really great museum out in Sugarland. In addition to that, they do have a children's museum, and it's always good to kind of get out, particularly in the summer when kids get a little bored. Go enjoy the children's Children's Museum. But if you haven't gone yet, I highly recommend the Children's Museum downtown in the museum district. It's fun to watch the kids play and just, waste a whole at least half a day there. And so I highly recommend that if you have younger kids. Also, the Financial Center is the event center where a lot of big name bands and performances will come through every year. So it's nice to have a place to go and watch concerts and performances that's not downtown or in the Woodlands. So obviously it's super close, and which is a huge benefit for living in Sugar Land. The Sugar Land Town Center is awesome for great restaurants, bars, and as well as some higher end shopping. You can definitely enjoy yourself here, grab a bite to eat and just kind of people watch. We love to just kind of sit out and watch people play in that town center area on the green grass. And many times I have live bands and music and performances, so that's always fun. And they also have a variety of events throughout the year. They usually put on the movie night, movie under the moon, as well as different events such as like an Oktoberfest or Christmas themed stuff going on. So that is always fun to check out. So Sugar Land Town Center is a great place to spend some time at. So there are a ton of parks in Sugar Land. One of my favorites is Oyster Creek Park. Just tons of great walking trails and lakes to walk around, and it goes on for miles. And one section is actually called the Edible Arbor. It's a bunch of orchards of various fruit trees and nut trees that you can pick and enjoy on your own, obviously when it's in season. I think some of the orchards took a big hit during the freeze of 2021, but there's still a few fruit trees and nut trees out there to enjoy. My favorite brewery in Sugar Land area is actually in Missouri City. It's Texas Leaguer. Has some great brews. As a big beer fan, and my belly shows it, I definitely enjoy it, and it's some really good brews. And it's cool because it's all baseball themed brews, so definitely check it out. And there is an ice rink in Sugar Land. It used to be a lot of fun. We'd have a date night. We'd go skate around, and we're not very good. We'd enjoy some pizza. That was a pizza place attached to it, but unfortunately the pizza place closed, and then I've heard the upkeep for the ice rink hasn't been super great, but it might be fun to check out. So those are the fun things to do in Sugar Land. Let's talk about some of the downsides of Sugar Land.
First is traffic. As with most areas of Houston, you're gonna expect some traffic during rush hour. I-69 is a great access to downtown, Galleria, and Med Center, like I mentioned earlier, but you're gonna have some traffic at rush hour. So be sure to map out your commute if you do have to go in for work. The second challenge is the higher cost of living. There are some absolutely beautiful homes in Sugar Land, but that does price out some entry-level buyers. So be sure to check out the link in the description below to see all the active homes for sale in Sugar Land. The third challenge is taxes, which is always fun. In Texas, if you're not familiar, we do have property taxes. We do not have state income tax. So because of that, our property taxes are rather high. In the Sugar Land area, you'll see anywhere from about 2% to about 3.6% property tax. So before you buy an area, check out the property tax and make sure that it's gonna fit within your monthly budget. The newer areas are gonna have that higher property tax rate versus the more well-established one will be much lower. The fourth challenge is always an issue in Houston, and that's the possibility of flooding. In 2017, we had Hurricane Harvey, and a ton of homes throughout the Houston area flooded. Thankfully, about just over 600 homes in Sugar Land did flood, and that does sound like a lot, but actually it's much better than many of the other areas. Sugar Land is protected by 9 different levees that prevent water from going into the various residential areas. And to get a better idea of some of the lower areas in Sugar Land, let's take a look at the flood map.
All right, let's look at where those homes are that flooded during Hurricane Harvey. First off, Quail Valley. This is Quail Valley over here. There are definitely some lower lying areas in Quail Valley, so keep an eye on that. Lake Olympia is right over here. So there are some beautiful homes in Lake Olympia, but they do have a few lower lying areas. There's a few that happened in Riverstone right along here, close to the bayou. This is Brazos River. And then a few out in Greatwood and then River Park. Okay, so this map is a bit overwhelming, but it is a flood map, and I want to go over it real quick, kind of give you a general idea of the different areas in Sugar Land. This is Highway 6, and this is I-69 going pretty much north and south. This yellow area is a 500-year flood plain. It's protected by the levees, like I mentioned earlier, the 9 various levee districts that protect most of Sugar Land. This purple part is the floodway, and then the light purple is a 100-year flood plain. And then over here, this orangish color with the X's on it, that is outside of any flood hazard. So it's outside the 500-year flood plain. And so getting flood insurance for a 500-year flood plain floodplain or outside the floodplain is usually inexpensive, usually between $400 and $600, give or take. But once you get into the 100-year floodplain, it does and possibly could get more expensive. Some will still be about the same price, but some will be $2,500, $3,000 a year or so. Be sure to get quotes for flood insurance when you are doing your inspection period or option period. Now, again, this is the Brazos River here, and all the levees run right along the Brazos River, obviously to prevent the river from overflowing. And again, during Hurricane Harvey, it performed as intended, but it does go all the way through the southern part of Sugar Land and into Sienna Plantation, which is right over here. So definitely something to consider when you are looking to buy. Great Wood here on the west side did again have some flooding, but it is also protected by the levee, as well as River Park. On the north side, we still see some more levee protection, but also here on this northern part of Sugar Land, most of it is outside the floodplain. And the same thing over here outside the floodplain when you get into Quail Valley and northeastern parts of Sugar Land. And again, some quick reminders for when you are buying a house in and around the Houston area, be sure to check the flood maps before you buy. Also to check the history, see if there's any flooding. Best thing to do is check out the seller's disclosure. That is a disclosure that sellers have to provide that covers the history of the property, any repairs or updates regards to flooding, a water leak, roof damage, something like that. They have to disclose that. So that's a very important document that's required by Texas law, except if it's a foreclosure or an estate sale. So if you buy one of those, you're kind of buying an unknown there. Also too, it's good to get a elevation certificate when you are getting a survey, and that's just going to tell you how far your property is above sea level, and it's required by many insurance companies, particularly when you're getting flood insurance. So it's a little extra cost, but be sure to factor that in when you buy a house in Sugar Land. So now I'd like to dive into some of these great neighborhoods in Sugar Land and show you where they are on the map. Now this is gonna be kind of a general overview, but I will do videos diving into these great neighborhoods in more detail. So be sure to check out the card above or the playlist for Sugar Land on my channel. All right, to name a couple of my favorite neighborhoods to consider, you have Riverstone, Telfair, Commonwealth, Sweetwater, Greatwood, New Territory, Avalon, and River Park, just to name a few. And then also for those great neighborhoods that are actually in Missouri City, that would include Lake Olympia and Sienna Plantation. Now, if you are looking for some luxury homes, then you need to check out Alkiri Lake, Sweetwater Estates, Majestic Point at Riverstone, Pecan Manor, Waters of Avalon, and then Telfair, Greatwood, and Sienna Plantation will also have some luxury homes. All right, so let's start on the north side of Sugar Land. This is the older section of Sugar Land, kind of on the northern part. The city municipal park is up here. And then this is Imperial. It's a newer neighborhood. They're still kind of building on that. I really like the neighborhood. This is where the Space Cowboys play, right over here. And this is the regional airport. A few other neighborhoods that I really like, Venetian Estates, Sugar Lakes, Oyster Bay. These are some older neighborhoods. Alkiri Lake is a beautiful, smaller custom home neighborhood. A lot of these lots are 2 acres and above, and it'll be, $1 million, $2 million plus. There's some really beautiful houses. Over here we have Sugar Creek and a lot of other different neighborhoods to check out, the Highlands. And this is kind of over here, again, kind of the heart of Sugar Land. The town center is right here. The mall, Smart Financial Center is down over here. All right, so over here are some really great neighborhoods. A lot of these homes are a little bit older, but a lot of colonies. First Colony, Colony Oaks, Colony Park, Colony Bend, Colony Ford. So definitely check some of these out. Coming down University, there's some beautiful homes over here in the Avalon. Really like those. Brazos Landing, Commonwealth is right around here. And then River Park is right all along here. And then down, as we get a little further south and east is the Sienna area. And that's gonna kind of go all the way down here, the Sienna Parkway and so forth. So it's kind of that southern portion of Sugar Land. Again, this is actually Missouri City. Sugar Land is kind of up here, but again, kind of considered part of the Sugar Land area. I like Lake Olympia, and Quail Valley is up here. There's some beautiful homes there. A lot of them are, more unique. You won't have more cookie cutter. You have a lot more of mature trees in some a little bit larger lots. And then there is a golf course that runs through Quail Valley. Telfair is super popular. Great neighborhood, good access, good schools. I really like New Territory. A little bit older, 80s and 90s, a few 2000s built homes, but a beautiful community, and then easy access to Grand Parkway and I-69. Greatwood, one of the best neighborhoods in the area. Again, a little bit older, 80s, 90s, I think a few 2000s, but great neighborhood here. It's got a golf course and pretty much everything you can want, shopping and lots of restaurants. So that's a quick overview of some of where these great neighborhoods are located. Again, be sure to check out the playlist to learn more about great neighborhoods in Sugar Land. All right, so I'm finally at the point where I get to talk about the schools in Sugar Land. And as I said in the beginning, it's very confusing, but it's very important because it's a huge driver of why many people buy in the Sugar Land area. So let's start with an overview of the different school districts. Okay, so this blue section here is the school district that Sugar Land is zoned to, and this is Fort Bend ISD, or Independent School District. And the city of Sugar Land member runs right around here. So most of Sugar Land, the city of Sugar Land particularly, is in Fort Bend ISD. There are small portions that are not. This part here in Greatwood and River Park is actually in Lamar Consolidated. Lamar Consolidated is over here, and both school districts have some great reputations for some really good schools, Fort Bend in particular, in the Sugar Land area. Now, zooming in a little bit more, you can see Fort Bend ISD and Sugar Land. Now, some of the highest rated schools will be in the heart of Sugar Land. That's I-69 here through Highway 6 south. This area right here has some of the most highest rated schools in the Sugar Land area. Also, Haytel Fair is great, New Territory, and obviously Greatwood. But as far as the school ratings in Sugar Land, that's kind of like kind of meat and potatoes of where the great schools are going to be. Now, there will be some great schools, you know, in this section right up here. I think Highlands Elementary is really great. Great schools in Imperial neighborhood up there. And so there's gonna be some really good schools around, but that's kind of your safe bet. So if you are looking for awesome schools, that's really kind of where you go to first. Now, Sienna Plantation, which is further south over here, also has some really amazing schools. I just don't have that on the map. Okay, so let's talk about the high schools in Sugar Land. First off, the best and highest rated high school in Sugar Land is Clements High School. Now, it's rated as the #3 best high school according to niche.com. And according to the Polaris list, it's rated as number 17. So as you can see, it is a highly rated high school. And I have clients and friends that send their kids there, and the academics are rather rigorous, and especially if you're taking pre-AP and AP classes. So if you have a home zoned to Clements High School, it's gonna be super desirable. Even if it's a little bit older, it tends to sell and rent faster than if it was zoned to other high schools. Okay, so the other two A-rated high schools are Ridgepoint and Travis High School. And Dulles, Kempner, and Elkins are the B-rated high schools. There are also some highly rated elementary schools throughout the Sugar Land area. I have a couple on the screen here, but it's not an exhaustive list because there are just so many. So check out har.com/schools to learn more, or in the description below, I have a link that has all the highly rated schools already filtered out. So I search by A+ elementary, middle school, and high school, and you can also from there just adjust as you need, maybe private, public, or just elementary schools, and that's in the description below. So once you click the link and find a school that you want to be zoned to, you can find homes that are zoned to that school on HAR. All right, so if you're gonna buy a home in the Sugar Land area and it's gonna be zoned to one of these top rated high schools, you're gonna have a better chance of selling your home more quickly or renting it more quickly, and it tends to appreciate over time more. Obviously, it's a general rule of thumb. Each home and neighborhood is gonna be a little bit different, but that's definitely something to consider, and many people are relocating to Sugar Land because of these great schools. Now, if that's not important to you, or you don't have kids, or you don't really care, or you just want more bang for your buck, then maybe looking at some of these other homes zoned to Elkins High School and Kempner might be something that you want to consider, because the homes may be a little bit less expensive. It might have a better location, a little closer into town that fits your needs. So definitely weigh those pros and cons when you are considering the Sugar Land area. And to get started with finding your home in Sugar Land, go ahead, call or text me now. And if you want to learn more about Sugar Land, watch this video next. Or if you want to learn about Katie, check out this one.